Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be going over some of the basics on how to kit bash some of your models. Now, kit bashing is the art of taking one model that you already have and adding parts to it from other sets just to embellish it and give it a little bit more character. This way, all of the models that you have and create will be uniquely your own, and nobody else can claim that they have a model that looks identical to yours. Most of the models that come out of the 40K and Warhammer sets are going to have very, very similar looks because all of them follow a Lego-like instruction manual. But through the art of kit bashing, you can add different parts to make your models look entirely different and make them truly stand out on the tabletop. Kit bashing allows for you to be fully creative with your models and gives you a lot more range of freedom as to what you can do and what you can decide your models are supposed to do, look like, and any kind of story beats that you feel like your personal army is supposed to have. First, we're going to be going over some of the basic tools that you're going to need in order to get into kit bashing, which you should already have if you've already been building models before. Then, we're going to go over identifying parts in different sets that you think look good and might make a little bit of an embellishment to your model. This can be any part you like, doesn't have to be specific, can be completely weird, whatever you like. If you think it'll make your personal model look better, cut it out and put it on that model. We're also going to be going over some tips and tricks to make things a little bit easier on yourself, because kit bashing, obviously, is adding parts that aren't supposed to fit on a model onto it anyway. So there's sometimes that you're going to need to reshape things, make things look a little different, and find good spots that are going to actually enhance that new part onto the new model. So the parts that we are going to need are going to be cutters, which are going to be used to remove the parts from the sprue. We are also going to be needing an X-Acto knife in order to shave parts down and make things look a little bit neater and smoother. And of course, modeling glue, which is the heart of any model and getting it to stick together. We're also going to need to make sure we have a pre-built model. In this case, we are going to be using a Death Guard Space Marine, as well as any sprues that you have lying around the house that you would like to steal parts from to add on to this one. Just taking a peek at these sprues that I have here, I can identify that this little head hanging from a chain looks kind of cool, as well as these two little claw-like things on this other sprue. This is now where your cutters are going to come in handy. We want to be making sure that we're using this flat side here as opposed to this divot. The flat side will be facing towards the piece that you are intending to cut out so that you don't make more plastic come off the model than you intend to. It's already hard enough to shave that plastic off after the fact, so save yourself a little bit of work by keeping the flat side towards the piece. Then you're going to simply take your cutters and remove the piece from the sprue. You'll do this by just inserting your clippers on top of the gate or that little plastic stick where the actual sprue meets the smaller piece. You're going to lightly clip them, making sure that you're pointing the flat side of these clippers towards the actual piece to save as much of the detail on it as possible. Once all of these gates have been clipped, the piece should simply fall out either onto the table or into your hand. Once you have all of your desired pieces, this is where we are going to be grabbing our X-Acto knife in order to shave these pieces down to smooth out the spots that we were just clipping out as we remove them from the sprue. You'll be able to identify these spots by these rough edges and strange looking bits of plastic that are still hanging off of the piece. All you're going to have to do is take your X-Acto knife and lightly cut this excess plastic off of the piece. This way, you're going to smooth out the piece and make it look a whole lot neater when you have to come to painting it later on. Then, eventually, you're going to have to come backwards, lightly scraping the top end of the knife over the piece to truly get that smooth effect and make it much, much better looking. After you have all of your pieces shaved down and smoothed out, we are going to move on to a stage known as dry fitting. Dry fitting is when you take your pieces and you fit them onto the model without using any glue to give yourself a vastly better idea of what it's going to look like in the final product. This way, you don't have any unneeded mistakes and can make sure that it's going to look how you like. Taking a look, I feel like these robotic claws would look fantastic sticking out of the back of this model. making sure that the piece actually fits and that both pieces are going to align together so that I don't have any unneeded errors and make things look sloppy when the finished product is completed. I also feel like this hanging skull would look great hanging off of his hip here, just dangling down below the model. Now comes the stage of actually gluing the pieces onto the model. Now this step comes with a little bit of a warning. Modeling glue is pressurized, so as you begin to squeeze a little bit, the glue will want to continue coming out of the tube. It is alright to get on your fingers, so long as you are not ingesting it, you are not going to have any ill effects from the modeling glue. Then, what you're going to do is, of course, stick your piece onto the model. The great thing about modeling glue is that because it is a chemical reaction that is actually melting the plastic together, you do have a pretty long time to move your piece around and make sure that the angle looks good, that nothing looks strange, and that it is exactly to your liking. So feel free to adjust things and move it around as you are putting the piece on. After everything is to your satisfaction and all of the pieces are now glued on and melting together, you have completed your very first kit bash. You can do this again with any parts, any pieces, whatever you like in order to make your model truly unique. And now you have a fully kit bashed Warhammer 40,000 model. Hopefully this tutorial is going to help you take your modeling skills to the next level in making your own personalized models that really stand out when you're playing with your friends and family. I hope you learned something, and if you have any kind of questions, please let me know down in the comments below.